This is the Emotional Horsemanship Podcast. I am your host, Lockie Phillips. Emotional Horsemanship coaches deeply caring horse people to train emotionally balanced horses with science, empathy, and feel. We are interested in innovating horse training that truly, finally, puts the horse first. Season 2 of this podcast is going to bring you solo episodes, special guests, and small groups of guests as we discuss horses, horse training, the equestrian industry, and the big, bold, beautiful ideas that horses inspire in us to breathe in and breathe out. My guest on the podcast is Dr. Lucía Martinez. Dr. Lucía Martinez is an equine vet and osteopath. Originally from Spain, Lucía is not a celebrity vet, she doesn't have a social media presence, and she is your vet next door. She currently lives in the UK, but she really represents the vet next door. Lucía got my attention recently on social media with some really interesting thoughts, and it had been a long time that I had been waiting, looking, and hoping to find a vet who was not only willing, but able to speak the truth. For many reasons, Dr. Lucía is actually able to speak the truth and agreed to come here on the podcast to discuss what it's like to be a working equine vet, not a famous celebrity vet, not that vet from social media, but your vet next door. She came to discuss what that experience is like from her perspective, and I'm so grateful she did. Please welcome Dr. Lucía Martinez to the podcast. Dr. Lucía Martinez.
Lovely.
Lucía, thank you for joining me today and lending your voice to some important stories and conversations. I'm really happy to have you here. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So before I ask you the first question I usually ask everybody, I just want to let everyone know how I came across you or how you came across to me. I was going on some sort of diatribe on my social media about how I feel about and work with and understand humans in a horse's world. Specifically, I was talking about my relationship to horses being emotional support animals to humans and how I see that as a problem sometimes, but not always. And you responded and you sent me messages, and I get dozens and dozens of messages often every day if I'm posting.
Yeah.
But your messages stopped me in my tracks, and I asked you to tell me more, and you did. And then I just said, would you come on my podcast and talk about this, because you're in a unique position to actually maybe say something that's helpful. So, Lucía, who are you? What do you do? And how do you do it? Or how did you do it?
Oh, what a question. What a questions. I am a vet. I have done small animals and big animals because that's how you make money. And my passion are horses ever since I have a memory of anything in my life. So for the last maybe 7 years, my focus has been just about horses and the horses' well-being and how can I make life better for horses. At the moment, I'm not working. I have had 2 years of maternity leave, which have been a bliss in my life because I've learned so many things about being alive and being a human and being a mother, which is, if you do want to learn, it's like lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson. And then it was also a welcome break from a job that was hard, or I was finding quite hard for reasons like the ones you were writing about, how I was struggling to be a good steward for the horse's well-being whilst also serving my duty to the owner.
So first things first, may I ask you can decline this question, but may I ask you how old you are?
How old am I? I'm 34. I'm going to turn 35 in August.
So we're the same age.
Yeah.
You're 1990.
Absolutely millennial.
Love it. Okay. And so where did you study?
I studied in Madrid at a very nice university, lovely teachers, a lot to learn there. Hard work.
The vets that I've had access to in Spain are some of the best I've ever had access to. Just fantastic.
I mean,
just fantastic.
And I will absolutely agree with that. I think Spanish people are passionate, and Spanish people that go into veterinary medicine, I would say most 50% of those will be very passionate people that really, really want to do a good job.
Mm.
And then when you go to another countries, you can feel the difference between a Spanish vet and the rest of the vets, which may, no disrespect, I know very good vets of every place. And I've learned from vets from all over the place. But even my English clients kind of appreciate a Spanish vet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good Spanish vet has saved my horses' lives more than once. And I've had many, not just one, not just many, and my cats and my dogs also. So blessed, really blessed and very, very grateful for the quality of veterinary tuition and service available in this country. It's really, really remarkable and exceptional and not normal internationally, I have to say. So there's that. So you studied in Madrid. Which university was it? What was the name of it?
Alfonso X el Sabio.
Okay. So I live close to Rovkodina in Lugo.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, a really, really great. And my vet, Herminio, is one of the lecturers and surgeons there at that hospital.
In Lugo,
he's
nice.
really fantastic. Yeah. And when I was in the south of Spain, I had, I'm going to get this wrong, not Javier. It wasn't Javier. It was starting with J. Hang on, I'll tell you.
Google.
Because he was so wonderful. Joaquin.
Yeah.
You know Joaquin?
Were you in Malaga?
In Motril. Joaquin in Motril.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just fabulous. Just fabulous.
And there aren't that many horse vets in Spain.
Right.
People have horses, but not at the level of other countries. And he's very different horse owning, I would say.
In Spain, yeah. Joaquin told me that he would do between 8 to 15 emergency colic appointments every week. Every week, especially in certain times of the year.
Well, the husbandry is atrocious.
Yes.
So the colics are abundant.
Everywhere, abundant.
And then, you come here and people were like, how do you know so much about colic? And I'm like,
I'm a Spanish vet.
I remember once on my internship, I was on my rotation for surgery and I couldn't sleep in 3 days because it was horse after horse after horse. And then some had to be, operated twice. And
colic surgeries.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you'll learn. It's tough, but you learn.
Yeah. I also had great experiences with a breeder and vet in Malaga named Aida Hertes. She was really wonderful.
It's interesting. I've never gotten into breeding because I have fundamental ethic things going on inside me that was like, no, I'm not going to do that. It's never going to happen. So I don't know a lot of breeding. I know a bit.
Yeah. And I also sent a horse to a small but delightful hospital in Alicante for monorchid surgery. Monorchid. He was born with a singular testicle. So And when
you've been all over the place.
All over. So when he got his surgery, we didn't know he was a menorchid. We thought he was a cryptorchid, but then they opened him up, and I watched the whole thing. They opened him up and they went looking for the second one, wasn't there, and there was no signs of a prior surgery having something removed. So, and he was a registered Andalusian, pure raza español, and he was also breeding with a singular testicle.
Of course, I mean.
Of course. So something happened on his paperwork. Someone said the other testicle was lost in an accident.
What do you mean something happened?
Exactly.
Something happened?
That's what my vet in Bath said. He said, "What do you mean an accident?" He said, I smell fish. I smell a rat."
Absolutely, but that's how it works, you know. At least I will say this. At least in Spain, when we're doing shit, we're very, very sure that we're doing shit. You know, people just do it, and they're like, "Yeah, I've done that."
Yeah.
Because what? Because I need the money.
Right.
And that's how it works.
Well, you know? I don't know if that is what happened or not, but that is what my vet team believed had happened.
Yeah.
Because it involves one of the largest breeders in Spain.
Because it happens again and again. You know, if you have a horse with a physical fault, it's not as valuable as if it isn't. And well, if it's an entire nice stallion. But not much. Most people don't go and have a look to see how many testicles there are there, especially Spanish stallions that generally are cooped up in a box forever, and then they come out and they're like dragons.
Yeah, he has a few dragon buttons, but I have to say he was really lucky. But it was the first thing I saw when I met him, because I thought he was a properly entire stallion. And when I met him, I went, "Oh, he's got one testicle. What's that about?" "Oh, it was lost in an accident." "What kind of accident?" "I don't know." Called the previous owner. "What kind of accident?" "I don't know." Contacted the breeder. No response. Talked to my vets. They said no testicle, no sign of a prior surgery, no sign of a prior accident. There's just one enormous cantaloupe between his legs, and that's it.
I mean, sometimes if like they can be reabsorbed, you know, if the horse is older, and he had just one descent and another one kind of get lost in the in betweens, it can just be reabsorbed by the body, and then you never find it.
But even if it was reabsorbed, the ANCE should never have approved him for breeding. But, you know, things happen.
I say, you know, we are very close to Morocco, Spanish.
I see.
Yeah, so
anything can happen.
Anything goes.
So you studied in Spain. We have all these Spanish experiences. After Spain, you got some work experience internationally. Is that right?
So when I was a very keen vet student. Yeah, I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and I didn't. I was a bit like that. I wanted to learn, and so during my study years, I was working what you could class as a vet nurse in a small animal clinic, and I then did an externship in Colorado for a while, which was very nice and very eye-opening because it kind of showed me good standard of care for both animals and people.
Where in Colorado, might I ask?
Littleton Equine Clinic.
Littleton. In which part of Colorado?
Just south of Denver.
Just south of Denver. So I know of a very good, I can't remember the name, something Plains Veterinary Clinic in the Boulder County. I know several clients who've used a very, very good vet in Boulder County that they really rely on.
North from there.
North of Denver.
Generally also, like in the United States, horse vets are good vets.
Yes. Very good.
Really do, yeah, and they're very keen as well, and they work really hard. But to me, the difference between how they treated me at that hospital and how they treated me at other hospitals in Spain was like, for me, was like, yeah, I'm not going to do horses in Spain ever.
Really?
Yeah, I did for a bit, but after that, then I did an internship at my university hospital, which was like walking through hell and back. It was hard work.
In Madrid?
Yeah. It was hard work. And I think in Spain what happens is like, I don't want to say Spanish people are disorganized. Is that the word? Unorganized, disorganized? I don't know. I always get corrected with that one. But
disorganized, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and who is in charge, who isn't in charge, who does the jobs, who doesn't do the jobs, where are the limits of like, just let's talk Turkey. I did an internship in which I was working a minimum of 80 hours a week for 375 euros a month.
Oh my goodness. That shouldn't be legal.
No, it is very legal. Basic education.
Wow.
Yeah. So working really hard, learning a lot, and then because you're learning, right? At least I was getting paid, but I was learning. And what a privilege you're here learning. You know, what a privilege you can watch this surgery and then clean up afterward at 5 a.m. and then go to work at 8 again. Right? What a privilege. It is a privilege. I learned a lot and it was my choice, but it was hard. And that's, you know, it's very hard to not begin to get burnout when the beginnings of your career are
like
literally,
that.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's horses, isn't it? It's the same for trainers. It's the same for, isn't it? You need to bust your ass in order to even get the chance of anything. But then, yeah.
So you did an externship in Colorado.
Yeah.
What happened next?
I finished my degree.
Uh-huh.
And then I did the internship.
Back in Madrid.
Yeah.
And from Madrid, where did you go after the internship?
After the internship, I started doing working practices, or I started being an extern student to a very nice, very good vet that only did sports medicine mostly and treated,
in the Madrid area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Loads of horses in Madrid. Oh my God. Just crawling with horses. Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, that was one of the most valuable learning experiences of my life, because this vet is super knowledgeable, super, like, a very good teacher and someone that really, really, really wants to teach you. That doesn't mean he's not hard work, because, it's still long hours and it's still unpaid to begin with. And it was really good, but it was really hard. And another thing I would say is, at 25 years old, 26, I was a child. I was a child of a human, right? And I had been so focused on, this is the only thing that I need to learn about, that then the rest of the things of your life, like having a social life or having anything else that is not just wake up, go to do the thing, it's hard. So hard to maintain a balance between your career and anything else. Near to impossible. Like, the only thing I did was work in one place and then work in another place in order to then also be able to pay for my master's degree. That wasn't cheap.
And where did you do the master's degree?
In the UK.
In the UK.
Yeah.
Where?
In Newcastle. So my master degree is a master of animal chiropractic, and I did it at Options for Animals. But in order to pay that, I had to work 2 jobs, and then by the time I did that master's, I was burned out. I was like,
toast.
What is this? Like, am I gonna do anything like this, like, forever until I die? Really? No. And so I quit all of the jobs for a bit. I was 27. So I got qualified at 24, and at 27 I was toast already. I mean, I always say this. I am a sensitive flower. I have other friends that just keep on going like goats, and they have fun. I can't. I am not like that. But then again, I got really lucky again, that one of my teachers at that master's degree offered me a job in the UK, a job that was only doing animal chiropractic. And I thought, well, that must be lovely. I don't have to do any colics. I don't have to do any emergencies. I don't have to see any, obstructed cats and cats with UTIs that are going to try and eat me alive because they're very sore and things like that. And so I thought, hallelujah, I'm moving to the UK.
And so?
And so I moved to the UK. I mean, I say hallelujah. It was hard work. I had to leave my whole entire life behind, and including my dogs and my cats, which wasn't easy.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. They came back. They came to live with me afterwards. But
good.
But to begin with, I had to spend an entire kind of like 6 months to a year, which I wasn't sure. And who do you leave your dear dogs with as well? My family, I love them dearly, but they're not. I had 2 Australian Shepherds. They needed a lot of input, exercise, mountaineering. We used to go trail running. It was them and I against the world. And then I left them with my mom, who, she's not going to go trail running. So I think I broke my dog's heart a little bit, and that was hard for me. But then we reunited, and that was better. And I moved here, and I'm still here. So the UK is kind of fine.
And you got married in the UK?
I did.
And now you're a young mother? And taking a break from veterinary practice.
So chiropractic is really nice, and I was having a really good time, but guess what? You can get burnout doing that too.
Okay.
You do too much of a thing. And now that I'm 34 and I feel like Gandalf, I kind of feel like Gandalf because I know myself enough to know why the things didn't work for me, right? I have in my brain, there's an ethic that can't be broken. And when I have to betray myself for the sake of the job, or for the sake of my boss, or for the sake of the owner, or for the sake of someone that isn't me, I just don't enjoy it, and I don't want to do it. And so in 2022, I left my job with this man that he's a lovely man, and he's nothing to do with me. Like, I left my job because of me, not because of him.
Yes.
And and then I kept some contact with the clients that I had formed a relationship with, because I will say that about the UK. If you're gonna have good clients, they probably will come from the UK. There is a lot of lovely people that want to do lovely things for the horses. Sometimes they just don't know how. There is a lot of other people that don't, but you can find the ones that do. And you can work with them, and they will work with you, and you will be able to pay your bills, which doesn't happen in Spain.
I see.
You must be the favorite client of your vets, unless there are a lot of foreign people around you.
Wow. So I'd love to talk with you more about some stories. I'd love to talk with you more about some of the common issues you started to discover as a vet, and from your perspective as the vet, exactly what that was like, because we hear a lot of the perspective of the client, and often for the reasons you've spoken about, vets are not empowered to say something from their perspective if it's outside of the strict confines of offering a diagnosis and making a recommendation. But they often don't comment on all these other elements at play, because they might be burnt out, because they might be underpaid and overworked, because there's too many horses, too many problems, not enough time, because they're trying to grapple with their energy levels, plus their love for the animals, plus their immense experience and education, all of these things. They're trying to balance all of it. And so this is all kind of coming to a crest. And what they're supposed to say to the client is often very, very different to what they wish they could have the power to say to the client without consequences that could be egregious to your financial, logistical, and personal well-being. Am I speaking to something here for you?
100%. I have thought long and hard about all of that, because obviously when I quit my job into 2022, I then didn't have any job.
Mm.
How do you make money? How do you make that decision of going, this is no longer aligned and it will never be aligned, and I do not care that I need it to survive. Do I need it to survive? So to me, it's a matter of your beliefs, your ethics, your awareness of yourself, how much you know yourself, and the ability to hold the responsibility of you from you.
Could you give me a specific example?
Yeah. So I know a lot of vets that would like to say these to their owners. And what happens nowadays is, you end up venting to another colleague or groups. And it's like, and when I receive those things now, I'm like, the power is yours. If you want to say something to that owner that is different, either you figure out how to deliver the message in a way that will be received properly, or you understand that you will betray yourself, the animal, and the owner for not delivering what is the best thing. Yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. I suppose I could say, I'm not sure. I can only say this for the friends that will say this. I, as a vet in the area where I am, may or may not have created myself a reputation of if you get Lucía, she's just going to tell you how it is, and then you
got that reputation for being frank.
Yeah,
great. See, this is why I resonated with your message to me, because I can smell honesty from a mile away. I can smell it in 2 sentences or less. 3 words or less. I can smell someone who's willing and brave to actually tell the truth. So
yeah. So that's why I say I curated my clientele. And then there were the other people that would say, well, you could call her, but she will tell you all the things you don't want to hear. So do you want to fix the problem or do you not?
Are you willing to put your feelings to the side and hear what needs to be said, even if it upsets you?
And then it was very hard for me to develop the way of delivering my thoughts to people. And then I learned that people don't want to hear that they are wrong or that they are bad or that they mean harm to their animals. And then I understood that I am not saying you are a bad person. I am saying you have the wrong tools.
Yeah.
I am saying
what you're doing is wrong.
Exactly.
Not who you are.
Exactly. But the inner child inside of us always is, the getting offense because you're telling me I am this. No, I'm telling you nothing about you.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we can do this better. So after I quit my job, I started building this project called Comprehensive Equine Care, in which my intention was to just be myself. I am myself. What I like to deliver is a comprehensive care for a horse. And if you call me, you are going to get the A to the Z of all the things you can do for your horse to be happy.
Mm.
And it may involve not riding, and it may involve a new farrier, and it may involve no saddle or a new saddle, and it may involve even, a new vet or whatever it is. Analyze what's not working, evolve.
Change it. Yes.
Yeah, I find that people are afraid of that word change. They don't like change, but are okay with evolution.
I see. So you found some euphemistic strategies to soften the blow, but keep clients functionally responsible.
We have our frontal lobes analyzing everything someone says, and when I am there kind of as a referee, and I'm kind of like whispering at the horse saying, I'm working for you. And I'm talking to a human being instead, right? So I need to make sure that my language is perfect. So they
I understand that.
Absolutely absorb.
If that was so healthy for you, how come you kept burning out?
No, it wasn't, because I broke my contract. Well, no, I was going to say I broke up with my boss, but that's not. I quit my job because I couldn't just see the people that would wanted to see me. Yeah.
Mm.
I had to see everybody. I had to see the ones that didn't want to change the saddle and that they just thought that chiropractic was going to, enable them to go hunting tomorrow. And I don't want to see them because they don't want to listen to me.
Damn.
But the ones that want to listen to me still need to be seen as the human they are, and I still need to talk to them with love, right? Because if I put love into them, they'll put love into the horse.
Mm.
That's that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but then I got pregnant, so I did not much of that.
I don't know. I think there's space for that.
Oh, yeah.
But I think there's also space for unmanipulated, unadulterated, unchanged, plain honesty.
I love that for you, and my husband is my guinea pig for that,
okay.
And bless his cotton socks. I'm Spanish, Loki. I can get way too plain.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, the learning
has been to soften.
And the learning to meet people in the middle is my job.
Mm.
Not as a vet, as a human.
Mm.
Right? Because I am, I don't know, like, yeah. Sometimes you're talking to me and I already know what you're going to say. And I already have, look, this in my hand says, be patient, don't interrupt.
Got it.
Talk to you, right?
Wow.
So no, I need to be nicer.
But you would be, for me, welcome to interrupt me if we start to have a really vigorous conversation about an important subject.
You're brave and you're grounded and you're present. And I will say one thing. You have spent hours of your life in your body, which gives you something that most people don't have.
True.
An ability to separate all of that's going on here, which what you're feeling here.
Right.
And an ability to also be able to bear what you're feeling without letting the mind shut it down.
Right.
Yeah. So you're not normal.
No, I'm aware I'm not normal.
Yeah.
And I have holidays where I will travel to the middle to meet people.
Yeah.
But I can't live there because it forces me to engage in something that feels really toxic to me physiologically.
I feel you, bro.
You get me? You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's like I can stay here, but it's like I'm standing at Chernobyl. I have to be here for a limited period of time. I have to limit my exposure, and I need to wear a lead vest.
I mean, yeah.
And then get out of there, right?
And that's why I'm not in a hurry to get back to it.
Right.
I'm very, very happy with being able to say this to you from the comfort of my tower.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's privilege. You're actually in a very unique and privileged position to like tell stories out of school in a way.
Yeah. I'm aware of my privilege. Some people do tell me, oh, you must be having a great time of work. And I'm like, do you think that child rearing was easier? is any easier than what I was doing before?
Right.
It comes with another set of things I have had to learn. And so I'm learning. I am privileged to not have to do both at the same time.
Hello. I know a few vets that have had to do both. You know, as much as I sing the praises of Spanish vets, I can know of one vet who basically is engaging in malpractice and should not have their license. Won't name their names, won't even name where they are, but I have avoided that vet like the plague. They've caused me major issues. They've caused employers for me major issues. I've seen horses have a lot of issues with them. And then there was one vet which was sort of in between one side and the other, and that has their intervention with the horse, one of the horses I have now. They were the primary veterinary caregiver for my horse in a prior home for about 3 years. And my horse has irritable bowel syndrome and was eating paja de cebada or paja de trigo, 3 flakes a day. And, nanta muesli. They were eating maybe 12 scoops of nanta muesli per day and 3 flakes of paja de trigo per day. If the trigo was If the paha was clean, he was lucky. So he was eating that for 3 years, and he had a vet who was overseeing this care routine, and he didn't have a stable, he didn't have shelter, and often didn't have water. And he was developing symptoms of irritable bowel disease, of course, exacerbated by the diet and the lifestyle.
Yeah.
And this vet kept overseeing, and every episodic diarrheal situation, the recommendation was buscapina and take him off food for 12 hours. That was it. Buscapina, intramuscular, take him off food for 12 hours.
So the answer for that is, I don't care, do these, and if you get in trouble, go to the hospital and leave me alone. That's what you need to read in between those lines.
Right.
Don't care.
Don't care. And but this vet had an excellent manner, was liked by all of their clients, celebrated by all of their clients, excellent manner, great communicator.
That means I can owe this vet money and he doesn't complain.
And yet was overseeing these issues. And that vet was responsive, would show up, would assist you in emergencies. I saw this vet save some horses in a colic emergency. I helped them. I brought water to them for pumping out the stomach. I know this vet.
Yeah.
And then when they had kids, female vet, when she became pregnant, suddenly it was like, okay, she's just distant now. And I get that. I mean, I can't imagine what she's working with, what she's working against often. So I don't judge this vet. All I know is the facts on the table is I've got a horse that many, many years later, to this day, has health ramifications that I have to manage every day at great expense to me and to him and to him. And to him. And I wonder,
if you want, we can talk about it.
Well, yeah, I'm wondering where was the space for my horse in prior ownership for the vet to finally say something that needs to be said and intervene, not a little bit, but intervene a lot, and not worry so much about the manner and being liked by the clients, but by being the mouthpiece for the vulnerable animal in the middle, and not just trying to keep this horse alive as long as possible until they die of whatever. You know?
But is that not more a personality trait?
Are you saying that this vet, that's a personality flaw of them to not?
Flaw? I think, you know, people, even in between humans, people don't speak up. You know? To speak up, to put your ass on the line is something that most humans don't do if they can help it.
That's true. And as someone who has my ass on the line on a daily basis, I can say that it's a really uncomfortable experience. It can be really scary to have your ass on the line, and it can be professionally, personally, financially dangerous to have your ass on the line.
So you need to be a little bit of a
warrior.
Yeah, or a rebel, you know. It's like, you say these, I don't agree. And I am going to tell you, I don't agree. But that simple act of also allowing your psyche to understand that you don't agree.
Allowing the psyche to understand you don't agree. Yes.
Yeah, because you know why I will say this, forgive me for not giving you scientific evidence that this is true, but a lot of sickness come from not allowing your psyche to hear what your body is telling you. You don't agree. You don't agree. So you shut that part of you down. So you don't have to be in danger. Survival mode is what drives us. Yeah. I am in survival mode right now because I want to just do these. And if I do more than these, I will probably just be overstimulated and
whelmed.
Oh, yeah. And I don't want to be overwhelmed. I'd rather be poor for a bit than overwhelmed.
And focus on the child. Yeah. Focus on your children. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucía, could you share one or maybe two or three, if you've got time or energy, stories that stand out in your mind that relate to these subjects that we are currently discussing?
Well, I don't know if I remember stories per se. I can totally give you examples of things that I don't agree with, that happen on the daily in the horse world.
That would
be
good. Is that
okay? I am just, my brain is really good at not remembering the specifics. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I'm haunted with that ability. I'm haunted with it because I will remember explicit detail for years and years and years. Maybe if I dig, I will remember. Well, but I will tell you the things I just see or have seen on, like as common as just going for a wee in the horse world, which I just can't with. Please. For example. And I see them, actually, I'm going to put you a super nice example of yesterday. I open Facebook. Yeah. And I see a very nice farrier posting, bragging about the rehabilitation of the feet of a horse. Yeah. The feet are, the Chinese binding feet, kind of like, they still look like that. They look a lot better, but they still look like that. And the horse is being ridden in a Grand Prix, doing pirouettes, a collected canter, you name it, with those hooves. And I messaged that guy, which I have talked about with before, and I said, great work, mate, but do you think that horse should be ridden in a Grand Prix level with those hooves? No, but he is. Good for you. How am I? I was like, listen, I'm not here to tell you off. I'm just appalled. Because then I have to go say to Susan, from Roxham, that she can't ride her horse yet because those feet are very bad. But then she sees these posts on Facebook. Right. And she sees these very nice, very well, shiny horse, whatever, being ridden like that. And you're bragging about the change in the feet. And what do I say to Susan then? I have to sit and do 2 hours of therapy with Susan so she can understand what I mean. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Which you're not qualified to do, by the way. But of course not. You are often the only one positioned to actually do it. Mm-hmm. So that's one example. Say feet or saddle or, whatever. Feet and saddle are generally, the biggest. I would say, contenders, big contenders. And, you go to your regular livery yard and half of the horses have the worst, most atrophied backs in the world. And they still get the saddle fit around and the saddle fitter still fits them saddles. Because his wheel needs to keep on spinning. And so how do I go there as a chiropractor, and they're going to pay me a wad of money for me to come and say to them, your horse has an unfittable back and he shouldn't have a saddle. I can work with you and it may take us 6 months to rehab these to help him gain a lot of muscle in his back in order for you to be able to even remotely think about sitting on him. But the saddle fitter was here, 2 months ago, and he told me that, nah. And that's another thing, the vet's word has kind of plummeted. I don't think it's worth anything these days, the vet's word. Oh, my goodness. What is knowledge when you have Google? And also, you don't know what you don't know. That is that the Dunning-Kruger effect? Yeah. Yeah. The more I know, the least I know. Right. How can you tell me you know? Right? Right. It's super interesting, but it is an almost unsolvable puzzle. And so you need to find your people, and then you need to do work with your people. And what you do is really lovely because you can expand the reach of your energetic field with social media and whatever it is. And people that may not be your people yet can see you, experience you, and kind of like get a taste of what it could look like to do things differently. Or be repelled by me also. Perfect. And that's intentional also. I was talking with a friend and colleague of mine this morning. She said, authenticity is like a skunk. if to protect yourself against predators, you lift your tail. And so I protect myself against unscrupulous, irresponsible people whom put their feelings above the feelings of a vulnerable creature. I protect myself against them via messaging which repels them. That's absolutely intentional.
Yeah.
And I will continue to do that, as is my right and want, because the people who are not repelled by it share these common characteristics of kindness, responsibility, curiosity, love of learning, appreciation of beauty and wonder, and, you know, sometimes insecurity, sometimes wanting to do better, sometimes anxiety. But, you know, we've all got our things to deal with. But and as such, it means I know that I will never be a working local professional that is geographically based to a single community. That is impossible, because there's just not enough people who will not be repelled by me enough for me to make a living. So I was forced to go from in the middle of nowhere to international within a blink of an eye so that I could remain authentic to myself. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. The way I have done that before. Even my boss did that to a degree in which, you know, he said he would put up his prices, right?
Right.
To try and put some sort of a barrier between who can and who can't. But it got to a point for me that didn't work, you know, because I got, and I am not bragging, the reputation of being difficult, but also being, I can sort the shit.
I can fix it.
Because I want to. And that's the difference between me and the rest. I will be interested. I will sit here. I will listen. That's me. I love that. I love to fix it. Or, you know, begin to try and, you know, I won't fix it. It won't be me. It will be the horse. I will just make space for the horse so he can fix it, or she. Yeah? And that's cool. And then, you know, then I had to be myself when I encountered the owner in order for them decide whether I was for them or not. But I have that virtue that I've been myself ever since I was born.
That's lovely.
Yeah, I mean, it's lovely. Hard work, but
very hard work. And it's not everyone will need to fall in line with that approach, but it certainly sounds like it's the approach you and I have taken. You know, we're almost 35, and we've experienced 9/11, the pandemic, a few wars, and God knows what else to come before our 40th birthday.
Yeah, hopefully not a lot. I'm hoping. I don't want to experience more. Thank you very much.
Touch wood. We all just kind of want to crawl under a rock and stay there for a little longer.
Yeah.
So, you know, you saw a lot of feet and saddle issues, and horses stuck between saddles that were damaging, backs that were atrophied, compressed, underdeveloped, pathological, feet that were pathological, despite care. Despite care, despite qualified intervention on a regular basis, despite farrier bills and saddlery bills, you saw horses where the results just didn't match up to the bills that were being paid on behalf of these horses. And yet the owner was there saying, but I've paid for X, so therefore where is my Y? I'm going to ride tomorrow. And so you were one of the vets that was brave enough to say, but that's great. I understand that that's what you think and feel, but the facts on the table is the horse has this, this, and this wrong. So if you want to proceed with that tomorrow, you need to know that you will be exposing the horse to pain, discomfort, 100%. Further damage. You need to know that whether you decide to go ride tomorrow or not, you need to know that. And if you ride tomorrow, then that's on you, that you're now making it worse. I will not hold that for you. I will not hold that secret for you.
Exactly. It won't be a secret. It's not a secret.
Well, do you think some vets hold that secret, know that there's an issue, and say nothing?
What do you think the vets know?
Are you saying the vets don't know better?
I've seen many vets that don't know better. Just recently, one of my dear friends has a horse, and with an ulcer in his stomach, and her vet said that it wasn't big enough to treat it.
Sorry?
Exactly.
They wouldn't even say, hey, why don't you give hay before you ride the horse, just to create fiber or omeprazole?
The horse is not ridden, so the horse is going through what he's going through, and however, it's just, the horse has one ulcer. It's there, we've seen it,
and they're not treating that one.
It's not big enough to treat. Have you had ulcers?
No, but I understand they're excruciating.
Yeah. Well, that was, I don't know, a month ago.
Even a singular ulcer is excruciating, I'm told.
Yeah. On top of whatever other issues that may or may not be having, and that may be not the root cause of any of the issues that may be happening. However, boy, oh boy. Why?
So you're saying that some vets don't know better. Let me offer an olive branch to the vets, because it's one of the hardest jobs imaginable. Is it possible that some vets do know better or could know better, but they are operating underneath a fog of exhaustion and overwork and lack
100%.
of... Okay.
But we've all been there.
Mm.
It is your responsibility to be who you want to be.
Mm.
And the same way you were saying, I'm not going to sugarcoat, I'm not going to blah, blah, blah. I love vets. I'm one of them. I have lots of friends that are vets, and I see them digging their own graves every day as well. Yeah. And I see many trainers also digging their own beds every day. You are your own responsibility.
It's the same.
You do, at the end of the day, when you find a vet, it's not a vet, it's a human being. When you find a farrier, it's not a farrier, it's a human being. When you find a saddle fitter, it's not a saddle fitter, it's a human being. The quality of that human being will show through their work. They can be tired, yes. They can be burnout, yes. They can be whatever you want, yes. Make your choices wisely. Yeah? I don't know.
I hear you. I'm trying to explain or at least support and share sympathy for the working professional who's up against it, and maybe give them a concession that we are allowed some human mistakes and operational procedural fallacies due to being overworked.
But, it's a protective mechanism of, I can hold what I can hold, and I won't hold any more than what I can hold. The same way I'm protecting myself by kind of like just being a mom when I can be a mom, and not being a mom and a vet and a therapist and all of the things that I potentially would have to be if I had to go back to work.
Very, very wise. I when I was in New York State, I met with some saddlers. My friend is a saddle fitter, and she runs Allegheny Mountain Saddlery. She's amazing. She's really, really good, world-class saddles. And all of her makers are Amish. So they live these non-Western lives.
Yeah.
We were in the car driving from one Amish maker to another. And by the way, she checks the welfare of all of the horses owned by her saddle makers. And if the horse looks cold, she tells them to buy blankets, and they do. And she makes sure that if her saddlers' horses are not in good condition, she will not give them business. So that's one of the conditions of working with her, because some people are concerned about the Amish and their influence on horses. But we were driving from one farm to the other, and she said, you cannot rush the Amish. No. You cannot hustle them. If you say, well, can you get this saddle done at this time and put that one in and do this one, and can you pile on top of yourselves? They will just look at you and say, I can only do what I can do. And that's it. They will just not move. And yet they are extremely productive, extremely industrious, and get a lot done. And basically that area of the world around Buffalo and New York State, Pennsylvania, they run everything.
And they do it well.
And they do it well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to start talking about capitalism, because then we won't go to bed today. But again,
it's the late stage capitalist hellscape. It's got us all by the throat.
Everyone. And, people, let's say it one more time. I am very privileged. I am very privileged to have chosen the husband I chose, to have asked him for help when I needed it, to have asked him to step up when I needed it. And he did. But you know what? I wouldn't have taken any less.
Good so for you.
I am exactly. I am privileged to be who I am. Yeah?
Mm.
I have many flaws, but I love myself and I want to be happy. And I think that's something that not many people allow themselves. I love myself and I want to be happy. How are you loving yourself and how are you making yourself happy today? You, not how is your horse making you happy today? How is your friend making you happy today? How is your house and your new boots making you happy today? No. How have you made yourself happy today? I have made myself happy today by being able to wake up with my baby unicorn, and had the morning to ourselves. I have made me happy today because I've made boundaries so that can happen. Maybe these vet that made the wrong choice or the right choice about allowing this horse to have a little bit of a break from pain hadn't made a choice for him, his own happiness, and he can think about, the empathy won't be there if you don't have it to yourself.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know if I explained myself.
You've explained yourself very, very well. We're going to start rounding out the episode in a second, but there's an elephant in the room that I just want to point to. I don't really want to discuss it because I don't think my podcast is the right place to discuss it. But I just want to point to it because I'm talking to a vet.
Tell me.
There is a reason why the career with the highest percentage of suicides is the veterinary career. There is a reason.
There is a reason. There are many reasons.
Many reasons. I just want to point to it because I don't want to get into it any deeper than that. But I want to point to there are reasons. And I think, Lucía, you have explained some of the reasons why that is and some of the reasons why so far you are not one of those statistics.
No.
And probably won't be. I don't think you are not going to. You're going to be all right. Because there are too many horses, not enough vets.
Yeah.
Especially we need more Spanish vets in this world because they're so damn good. They're so damn good. They are
passionate. Spanish people have a passion.
That's right.
And they have a little motor inside of them.
Yes. Mm. And what I love about living in Spain and choosing it as my adopted home country is how welcoming everyone is and how my neighbors are very, very nosy and curious about what we do. But they leave us in peace to do it.
Oh, yeah.
They let us live our lives.
I mean, I thought you were going to say the food, but that's also cool.
The food is also good. Un poco blanda. It's sometimes a little bland for me.
Really?
Sometimes, yeah.
Well, I mean, you're Australian, so Asian influences and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. And spices and things like this. But yeah. Well, I'm going to round out the episode with the 3 questions I generally ask everyone, especially if they've come on the podcast the first time. And we've been talking about it all day, but the first one is to muck out with me. If the equestrian industry, the field of work, was a stable and you were to muck something out from that stable, one thing. There are many, but what would you pick today if you could? I know, it's like Sophie's choice.
What would I muck out? I have no idea. Probably professional sports.
Oh, only professional horse sports?
Yeah.
You would muck that out if you could?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Could you qualify that and give just a bit of an explanation why?
Own your right to use a horse as a sporting equipment. Own your right to do it. I mean, I don't know. Let's use this example. You live in Spain, right?
Yeah.
Bullfighting.
Yeah.
Bullfighting on a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. What gets done in that arena? It's a thing. And then the other day I saw a video on Facebook of a guy riding a Lusitano, bridleless, dancing with a bull and the horse. Beautiful. No blood, no nothing. It was fine. It was good. So if that can be done like that and is equally enjoyable, why the other thing exists, I will never know. So if you can exist with horses in a way that is respectable to them and to yourself, why does it have to exist in a way that is not? So if you can do horse sports in a way that is truly, 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 truly in love for the horse and not yourself, then do them.
You know, I'll risk going out on a limb and actually agreeing with you with my whole heart. I would love to turn on equestrian sports on the television and watch that and enjoy that. I would love to.
And I'm gonna preface that with I come from show jumping. I have seen it be done right.
Yes.
Yeah. It can be done right. And I know people that do it right. And I know people whose horses are genuinely
loving it.
Loving it.
Yes. And you have a horse, yes? You own a horse.
I do, yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Just putting that on the table because we haven't discussed your horse. My second question for you is long-winded, but there is a change occurring in our industry now. There have been many seasons of change, but we're currently undergoing another. And it's like a tide, the changing of tides. How do you understand the tide of change, or how do you contribute if you're contributing to it? You can answer one or both ways.
How do I contribute? I don't think I contribute. I'm just complaining. Look at me.
Well, you were contributing as a working vet, but you've stepped back to observe.
Yeah.
And to rest.
I think it's important, and it's unstoppable. You know, once you, it's like if you're in your kitchen and you see a stain on your drawer, you won't unsee it. It's there. You either go and clean it,
or you don't,
or you can live with that stain in there. That's your choice. So we're cleaning. Oh, we are cleaning.
We're cleaning.
Absolutely.
You are contributing because you decided to join me here today and give voice to these experiences. That's a contribution.
I mean, if you live around me, I don't shut up about it, really. But I just, I live in where I live, and you live in Spain. And that's the only way we can talk.
The last question for now is, I'd like you to describe home to you with horses. So it's not a journey, it's not an exploration, it's not something that makes you curious. What makes you sigh, feel relaxed, feel comfortable, feel at home around horses?
Horses. Home is horses. I don't understand the question.
Yeah, me too. It's like, does a fish know it's wet? It's like they say home is where the heart is. No, home is where my horses are.
Yeah.
Period.
And I understood that even better. Now I have a juxtaposition in between my child and a horse. And my child is one thing and a horse is another. I still go to my horse and I put my head against her belly. And that is an entire different, or not different, it's its own thing. Right? Horses, there are many things in this world that are a gift to humans, but I think horses is a very important one. Dogs as well are pretty cool. I mean, animals in general. What can I say? I'm a vet, right? Horses are home. And if all of the people that are drawn to horses is because they need them in one way or another, and then at some point they just lose the way and start using the horses instead of learning from the horses. Sit back for a little bit and just be with the horse and maybe learn things about yourself that is nothing to do with anything that you've been taught in school or anything that the society tells you is the truth of everything. Be still. Be with the horse. And then you're home. And that's why if you at some point have had the curiosity of approaching a creature like a horse, there's something for you to learn. There's something for you to experience that your soul is seeking that you are missing. You're missing it. Yeah. You think it is jumping? No, it isn't. It isn't jumping. It isn't dressage. It isn't even liberty. He's just the horse. Just be with the horse. I'm rambling now.
It's one of the nicest rambles I've heard all year. And I say all year, 12 months all year, not January to February all year. Lucía, thank you so much for your time today. I've really, really enjoyed not only getting to know you, but hearing your experiences and the way your mind works and how you feel about your work and about horses. I've really, really enjoyed it. And I'm very, very grateful that you said yes to joining me today.
I'm very grateful to have a spot in time to say what I think.
Consider me a friend, yes? You write to me anytime.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Emotional Horsemanship Podcast. That was my guest, Dr. Lucía Martinez. I thought she was just spectacular, don't you? If you'd like to consider learning more about emotional horsemanship, you can do so by going to emotionalhorsemanship.com. And if you don't know where to start, I recommend starting with the Emotional Horsemanship Foundation online course. Or if you're on a budget and you're just watching your pennies right now, go sign up for the video library because there are some really affordable access points there and a huge amount of information. Over 250 videos at this point. I think there's even more than that. And I'm working on transferring all of those videos to a custom platform where you'll also be able to interact with me. So, thanks for joining me. I hope you'll consider to support my work by becoming a student or even having a nosy look at some of the things that we do in terms of teaching. Thank you very much. I hope you'll consider to join us next week for another lovely guest on this podcast. Until then, take care. Make this one count. Untie. You're so good at dragging yourself down. Why? Well, there ain't much time left to figure things out. Deep underneath all the laser, your doubts, there's a heart.